All right, so welcome you guys to Technical Tuesday. Today's April 7th. Now, today I'm going to make it a little different. I'm going to be still doing the live analysis, but also including some slideshow. I know there's a lot of people that are brand new. We actually increased the limit from 100 people, now maxing to 500. So awesome. Welcome everyone in here. Now, most of you guys know me from Instagram at Risky Ricky, and some of you guys you guys were like part of the academy. You've taken some of the training. Probably never even seen me on Instagram, which might be kind of crazy. But there's some people who actually are on my Instagram. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, a little background about me. I had hit the 7 figures the first time in October of 2018. I've taught thousands of people all around the world. Now with an academy of over 20,000 members in there, I believe right now we're somewhere around 22 or something. I'm an investor in Forex, businesses, crypto, stocks, and myself. Now, Forex being my main investment strategy, but there's the different things. I do businesses, I do crypto stocks. And then what I mean by myself is I'm constantly investing in myself. Some of you guys know the quote that I mentioned, invest in yourself, you're worth it. That's something that I've found that is a way to continuously grow. That's why I play motivational stuff. That's why I do personal development, is because I'm constantly growing every single day. I'm not perfect. Everything is just a learning lesson. It's all about growing and becoming better and better. So now I wanted to start off this webinar today discussing about the cash flow quadrant. Some people might know about it. Some people have heard about it through some of my trainings. Those that haven't heard about it, this is going to be for you right here. Now, with the cash flow quadrant, now this is not something that I created. This is something that I actually had learned about from a author, Robert Kiyosaki. He's a author for entrepreneurship books. Probably some of you guys have heard Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has another book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. This was actually one of the starting books that I had read when I got into entrepreneurship back 4 years ago, which actually in a couple of days, April 11, would reach my mark of when I had quit my job 4 years ago. So that's like in a couple of days. But anyway, so if you can see on the chart here, so it says 4 ways to produce income. We have E, employee, S, self-employed, B, business owner, and then I for investor. So these are the different ways of producing cash flow. Now with employee, it's trading time for money. Self-employed is also trading time for money. These people own a job. Employees have a job. So both of these, time for money. Business owners own a system in place, so people to make the money. And then investors, these are people that have money and then makes them more money. So they own investments. Getting into Forex is part of the investment side. Now, if you can see on the left-hand side, it says this is the 5% of the world's wealth is on the left side of the quadrant, both employee and self-employed. And this is 95% of the world's population. So 95% of the world are employed and self-employed. Now, it's not a bad thing being an employee or being self-employed. I started off as an employee and then worked my way getting into self-employed stuff. I still do some self-employed stuff, but also have business, also do investments. So the way that I did it, I actually went from being an employee to getting into investments. And then from investments, that's when I actually started Market Masters, and then I now have multiple businesses. So, there's different ways about this, but overall, it's focusing on the right side of the quadrant. This is where you would make most of your money. If you can see, it says 95% of the world's wealth is on the right-hand side. Now that's with creating business or being an investor. And this is 5% of the world's population. So not many people are on this side, but they own most of the money, which is pretty crazy. Um, but the fact is, most people they're born and they go through the traditional way where it's, you go to school, high school, you graduate. After high school, what happens next? You go to college. And what are you going to college for? To get a career, to become an employee. Okay, so they're setting you up to become an employee, which again, it's not a bad thing being an employee, and I say that because I have employees myself, and I don't want them to feel bad about the position because what they're doing is giving back, and everyone needs employees. Like, for example, if you go to a doctor or a hospital, there's doctors that are employed. There's nurses, there's people in place that are there helping the system in place. But who's the one that makes most of the money? It's going to be the business owner. Or when getting into investments, this is actually the one that I like the most. And the reason why is because being an investor, you don't have to really sell anyone. Like, for example, when getting into Forex trading, I don't need to sell stuff compared to, well, I do sell and buy, obviously, predicting which way the market's going to go, but it's not like I need to talk to a person for them to purchase something with Forex. Um, this is where I make my own money doing it that way and don't have to rely on anyone. So it's definitely my best way of entrepreneurship, but obviously still owning businesses. Now, getting on to so as far as the cash flow quadrant, do you guys have any questions? Put in the chat box if you guys like understand what the cash flow quadrant means. If you don't, or if you're a little bit confused about it, I see some people putting one. Some people are actually used to me asking, like, if you understand, press one, or put one. If you don't, put two. Cool, cool. So I would highly suggest you guys get that book. It's from Cash Flow Quadrant. It's from Robert Kiyosaki, called Cash Flow Quadrant. Now, another topic that I want to like really let you guys know on. Some people know about it, some people don't. But the way and as far as like entrepreneurs, so when you hear about a millionaire, normally you would hear that they have multiple streams of income, and they normally have about 7+ streams of income. And there's a reason for this, and I'm about to explain right now. So there's actually, I posted about this a couple of days ago on my story about how I've constantly been telling people to create MSI, multiple streams of income. And the reason for that is because when I had first got into entrepreneurship, I had joined affiliate marketing companies. So I was learning about online advertising and how to promote other people's products. And I was part of Herbalife and like a bunch of MLM companies where I was just making money and creating a downline and all that stuff. Now the thing with that is I had relied on a certain company um, to pay me, and I had a good amount of reoccurring income from that company. And some people know about it, digital altitude. There was a bunch of influencers like Jason Stone, or a couple of different big influencers that were part of it, and they were making like 100,000. Now I wasn't at the 100,000 level, but I was somewhere around like the 5 to 10K a month. And the company had got shut down. And right when the company got shut down, I had lost most of my income. So, so from that experience that I had, where I had only relied on that one source, which I was still learning other things, but I was during that time um, relying off of one source. Once I got shut down, there was nothing left. So then I had to come up with different ways and all that stuff. So that's why I preach MSI, because a lot of people, especially during this time, this whole pandemic stuff going on, people had lost their jobs. I think over 20% of the U.S. had lost their job, and a lot of those people were just relying on one source of income. Now, as far as like my workers and stuff, I actually suggest that they like work for me. Plus, they also learn how to do trading, and then they actively make money doing that as well. So it's not just one source of income. Now they have two sources, and then work on creating three, four, five sources of income. So they have their money, and they have different things making them money. So that's that's a big key, you guys, just for being here. Some know already about this MSI stuff, but getting into Forex, that should be one MSI. Getting into some stocks, that should be another MSI. Um, you can have self-employed stuff, you can be an employee, but also have these things on the side that are actively there just in case, if during a time like this, things go bad, a business is not going well, you have other things to rely on. Okay, so that's definitely a key thing there. Now let me go ahead and exit this slide here, get into the actual charts now. Now I need to go ahead and change the Google account actually. There we go. Now for today, being April 11, check what we have. So there's no big impact during the London. Well, there's actually Euro medium impact. This is Euro group meetings. Then we have some USD. This is going to be later on, JPY at 5:30 p.m. later today. At 8:30, we have medium impact on AUD USD. Overall, just going to be looking at all the different pairs. Now, by the way, I'm going to be looking in the chat area. So if you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat area. I'm here to answer them. Switch screens. Okay. Now, someone asked if this is going to be recorded. Yes, it will be recorded, so you will be able to rewatch this. Now, at the end of this live analysis slash training, I do have an announcement for you guys. You guys definitely would want to stick around for that. Very, very important announcement. Okay. Someone said they're a beginner in Forex, how much time it would require to be successful. Now, that's a good question there. So as far as time, Mohammed answered countless hours. Yes, it does take a lot of time to learn, especially if you don't have the guidance. It's going to take a lot of time. Um, Now, if you do have the guidance, it's still going to take a lot of time, but it's going to be a lot faster. So that question really varies. Now, let me pull up my chart here on MetaTrader 4. And going to be pulling up a bunch of different currency pairs. Now, USD JPY is um, something that I was looking at. Now, one of the strategies that I have here, and I would just explain it briefly, is anytime that I see a 3 on the chart, it's expected to reverse. Now, this is an indicator that is being added, that is added on. As you can see, anytime we see a 3, it's expected to reverse, but we want to wait for the 3 and then some kind of major market reversal pattern before being able to enter in for either a buy or a sell. So for something like this, because the 3 is at the bottom, we're expecting for this price to be shooting up. Now, you guys notice with Euro GBP what kind of pattern we see for those that have taken the training. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Now I'm going to be doing the analysis on the actual trading view, but I can already see this is going to be one of the pairs to really keep an eye on. USD CHF, let's see. Let me see what other currency pairs I can pull up and see if which ones to be doing analysis on. So for sure, Euro GBP, do GBP JPY. Now, someone's posting on here, client review, trust me guys, I've made respected amount of money with Ricky. Awesome. Just don't spam the comment section. One time's enough. That person must be excited. We're going to be checking GBP CHF. You guys can notice this is, you kind of see like a head and shoulders pattern. Basically the exact opposite of what we see on Euro GBP. Now, on the other training that when I had the live analysis, or for those that have taken the training, I covered over correlation pairs. Now, if you see GBP, well, Euro GBP is not one of them on here, but I'm pretty sure Euro GBP and GBP GBP CHF are the exact pairs that don't move together. They're the opposites. So, going to be looking at let's check out GBP USD. Now, this was something that is expected to drop. This one I'm going to be holding on for a long time with GBP USD, and I'm about to explain pretty soon why. This one's definitely expected to drop. Okay, GBP USD. Now, the exact opposite of GBP USD should be USD JPY. All right, so now time to go onto the charts and break down what I see. Now, someone asked, when's the next 7-day training? The next 7-day training should be, I was planning on doing it sometime in May. Now, I haven't given a date just yet, but it should be sometime in May. So coming up very soon. There's actually going to be something new that I'm going to be adding onto the 7-day training, which I can kind of explain here. Anytime we see one of these arrows right here, these arrows right here are giving a signal to sell. So when we see a signal like that plus a 3, that's already a like double confirmation just with indicators that this is expected to drop. Or for example, right here we see a 3 plus this blue up arrow is a signal to buy. So you can see right when it gives that signal, it just keeps going up, or it's signal to sell, it just keeps going down. Okay. Now let's go onto the charts. And you guys, I'm going to be giving a strategy today that's definitely going to help some of you guys inside of Forex. I know there's some people that are brand new. If you're brand new, you know, some of the things that I talk in here, you can actually see how I predict some of this, which by the way, I believe last week's analysis, I'm not sure if it was USD JPY or Euro USD. One of those I had called last week, and it had perfectly hit take profit. I believe it was Euro USD. Yeah, there we go. A lot of people saying Euro USD. Okay, yeah. So Euro USD, I had called it somewhere around this area. Let's see. Tuesday last week, it was. Check my calendar. Yeah, it was exactly the 31st. So this is the 31st right here. This was when I expected for the price to drop. So it was somewhere like right above here. I remember I had mentioned to you guys about the, you know, the Fibonacci and that advanced strategy, which doing it from the bigger time frame, we had saw from this high to this low right here. Price had hit between that 61, 50% level, and then bounced off, and then continued dropping down. So As of now, I can still see this continuing to drop down. Um, you know, it came back up. It's kind of going to see over here, but overall, because it hit this area, um, it should be dropping all the way down to this 0, 0 down here at least. Um, at least for the most part, that's what we see. It did hit this major support right here. Price came down, hit the support, and then bounced up. So gonna need to see this be broken through, something like this, where it comes through and then just continues to drop down. Okay. Now this was a perfect call right here, being that um, you know, we had saw that head and shoulder pattern, left head, right shoulder. Now I had called it actually above here. So being that this was the right shoulder, and then this was more like that retest that was happening there, and then continue to drop down. But that's the way support and resistance works. There's different lines and areas where price is expected to reject off of. This area right here. So it could literally be both ways for this head and shoulder. Being that even from the head to the neckline is the distance that it should drop down. So pretty much around this area. Okay, but let's look at Euro GBP, one of those pairs that we're gonna check out. Now, a good thing to know is that um, if I expected Euro USD to drop, then you know, we're gonna see if GBP is expected to continue dropping or continue going up. So make sure everything's erased. Now, by the way, later on today, I'm going to be teaching a strategy that that is a certain indicator that I use to be able to help me predict the market. Something that big banks use. It's actually a way to understand the strength of the price. Um, Now, when getting into trading, there's two different kinds of traders. There's institutional and then there's retail. Institutional control most of the price. They can move the price doing a downtrend and then push it going up. So anytime that you notice a major area on the bigger time frame is usually what the bigger banks are looking at. So I always look at the bigger time frame so I can be able to predict what's going to be happening overall. So for example, this area right here where I had drawn through this, if I had drawn my resistance here, and during this entire event that was happening here, where it's just creating lower lows, lower highs, and just continuing this downtrend, I would have known all these areas right here. So after first getting this point and this point, I would have known this point here and then these points here to be able to sell the market, and my chances of winning are going to be much higher. The same thing applies for this area right here. This area right here is an area where it just keeps hitting, and just rejecting off of this area. Now, anytime the price is here, that already confirms that price is most likely going to be dropping down. So right now, you can see this very long wick and then wick coming down. So where do you think it's going to go? Most likely all the way down here where it's been hitting. And what we see right now on the bigger time frame is what's called consolidation. Price is just moving in a sideways market for Euro GBP. Now, being that price had broke through a lot and then we see these wicks, this is actually something that I see very often where it's actually called like stop hunting, where people put like stop losses above here. People put stop losses above here just so price, just so the house wins. And they know that most people put their stop loss here and enter in for a sale around this zone area. When something like this happens, usually you'll see it have a long wick like that, come down, and then people are getting in for sell, 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 but then they move the price back up. So that's why I think the price right now, what's going on is doing the Fibonacci. This is the area where price is expected to reverse the 50 and 61.8 level. Now, if you haven't seen that Fibonacci training that I did last week, definitely I would suggest going and watching that, because it's some really crazy, valuable content that can help you guys out. Now, all my weeks are valuable and crazy. Like some, you know, people would think that for something like this, you know, they would pay me lots of money to be able to watch me trade live and be able to spot out analysis. Because I know last week, like for that Euro USD call, people sent me screenshots of making like 2,000, like $1,000, even if it's like 500 or $100, like it's money. People are making money with me, and it's awesome to see that. So, anyways, for this area, getting the low to the high, we can see if I keep going onto the smaller time frame, it's pretty much showing me what I see on the bigger time frame. It's just what I like to see it as is like a telescope. You see it from far away, see what's going on from far away, and then get closer and closer and closer until you find that. And why I call the signals on point FX signals is because I get close, 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 and then get ready to fire once I notice it's in an area of a breakout. So for Euro GBP, this is actually a very, very perfect trade. Multiple confirmations that I notice here where we see an inverted head and shoulders happening. Now we're just waiting for price to break through. When price breaks through, price is expected to go from neckline ahead all the way up here. So we should be expecting it overall to at least hit this 38.2. Overall, um, if you're holding for a long time, and I mentioned this last week if you guys had caught this, um, where I put stop loss below the 61.8. So this position is going long. Stop loss somewhere below the 61.8, and then take profit. Like usually when it's something like this, it should go at least to the 0.0. At least to the 0.0, but being that this is a zone, I would at least catch it to this 23.6. Because this purple area, again, if I zoom out, it's a major area that price keeps hitting and then rejecting. So get at least target there. This right here is already a good risk to reward. If you guys want the stats on that, make sure to take a screenshot real quick. A screenshot real quick of this here. So profit level 9156. I would just keep it even, 500. Stop loss, I would keep that even too. 8700, 915. Now make sure to calculate, and this is something as well that a lot of people need to get down is having good risk to reward ratio. For those that have taken the training, they should already know this, but calculate what the distance is from the entry to take profit and then entry to stop loss, and then what kind of lot size you would use, so then you can already be able to tell how much you'll make. So for example, if you place a 1.0 on this one, you could make 10,875, or you can lose 9,500. So actually that's not right. No, if you place a 1.0, you make $2,864, and if you lose 1,636, and that's with a 1.0 lot size. So good risk to reward right here. Definitely going to be looking at this. But as far as this strategy right here, overall, it should at least hit this 38.2. So this is where I mention take profit 1 and take profit 2. Now, those that are brand new to trading, some of these things that I'm mentioning about is a little confusing, and it's confusing because you haven't taken any training, or if you have taken some training, you don't understand what I'm talking about. You probably haven't taken the right training. So this is going to be a little confusing for some of you guys, but just stick with here, at least for the announcement going on later on. Now, another thing with Euro GBP that I noticed here, and this was previously that happened. Can any of you guys point out what was going on here? What kind of pattern was happening? Let's see, you can put it on the chat area. Wedge. There we go. So yes, price was consolidating, or not consolidating, but basically this was trapping the price all the way until we noticed a breakout happen, and then the breakout happened right here. Normally the distance from up here to here is the distance that it should drop. So it perfectly had dropped that low. Now, someone asked the difference between pivot and Fibonacci. Pivot point and Fibonacci are totally different things. So it's not really hard to understand the concept. Let's see, when you have a wedge, do you just check from time to time for the breakout, or what do you do? Good question there. And this is the whole purpose behind this, is asking questions and being able to get it down. So when I see a wedge, do I just wait for an entry? I don't. I do what's called a stop loss, not a stop loss, a pending order. So I can place a pending sell order. And for something like this, if price is up here and I notice price is being trapped, I'll place a pending sell stop. So a pending sell stop somewhere down here, right when price hits the target, it enters in for a trade. Now for something like this, this is how my stop loss and take profit would look like. So stop loss would be somewhere above resistance, take profit would be down here. And then I just catch that trade, keep it open until it hits, or close out before the weekend. But yeah, that's how I would do my trade. Okay. So anyways, there's the setup right there. Now, something that I did like about this, let me remove pivot history. Something that I did like about this Euro GBP trade right here is, first off, the breakout of this neckline is right above this 50% level on the Fibonacci. Now, I put on the pivot points just to also see that as well. Also, the breakout is right above the R1, resistance 1 on the pivot points. So it's really good. R5 is showing right at this take profit 1 and then take profit 2 up there. Now, I'm actually post this right now. I'm going to show you guys how to be able to follow me. But yes, those that are mentioning, this does have 3 or more confirmations. And then something that I'm going to be covering later on today, which another confirmation that I do notice is the RSI divergence happening. Price is showing that it's expected to get stronger. So let me go ahead and publish this now onto my TradingView account. And I'm gonna show you guys how to follow me on TradingView as well. So GBP expected to rise, multiple confirmations. Okay, so I just posted it on my TradingView. Now, it does show to delete, and this is actually something to show you guys. So if I wanted to delete it like right now, I would be able to. I actually have 15 minutes to be able to delete this idea, which comes to prove that the analysis that I do post on my profile is all It's all live. I believe GBP USD. What did happen with this one? That one didn't hit. I think so. This was last week's analysis. So this was where I was mentioning where I got like that on point entry, you guys, last week. If I press play, this is what happened right when I had called that. So perfectly, it dropped, hit that take profit level, and then yeah. So anyways, to be able to follow me on TradingView, if you go to tradingview.com and you go to this search bar right here, you want to change this ticker to people, and then right here you look up Risky Ricky, the one with the lion. You click on that. You can follow me, and then when you follow me, there's an email that gets sent out. So those that have followed me already, you do get like an email notification about this trade. So then you can be able to see it. I already see someone had liked it. But anyways, let's go on to the next one, which I believe was GBP CHF. Okay, I'm gonna be checking out some of you guys' questions. Someone asked, how many signals do I send out? Okay. Someone asked, how many signals do I send out a day to your members in your group? So I do have a free version, and then I have like the paid version to be able to copy my trades. For the free version, it's like 1 to 3 a week. Usually it's somewhere around like 1 or 2 signals a week for the free version. And then the paid version is 1 to 6 per day. So some days it's 3, some days it's 5. Usually like 6 is like the max per day. So pretty good amount there. Someone asked if we should buy Euro GBP now. No. So you do not buy until you wait for a breakout. And that's like you would know this if you have taken the training. You wouldn't just buy right away. But yeah, right now it's actually just starting to reject off of this area. So we can see price came up here, hit, and then right now it's right here where it's expected to break through. Okay. Where do you get those indicators from? The one with the 3. That I share inside the 7-day FX mastery. And then I have one that's going to be created later on that's going to be called Forex Masters. The Forex Masters one is going to be like an advanced training, but it's not like it's not like the group mentorship kind of thing. Okay, so anyways, let's check out Euro. Was it GBP CHF? GBP CHF. Now I'm gonna erase everything and do a full breakdown. Actually went on the monthly for this one just because it has a lot of previous history over here. Okay, so I just pointed off the major areas right there on the monthly. Someone asked for the signals, how do I join? You would go on the website, marketmastersacademy.com, and then you can join there, or you can send in an email. One of the support members can help you out there. Okay, so trapping the price. Going on to smaller time frame. Okay, so high to low. Price is around that 60, 50% area. Price is perfectly hitting this 200 on the MA. Those that know about this already with the RSI, price is showing weakness. Actually, it's not a good area. This entire area is overall showing like weakness here. And if I show up here, price is showing it's going up. Now, this is actually something perfect with this 200 moving average. And you know, for those that have taken the training, know that I mentioned to mainly focus on this one on the 1 hour time frame, but there's something that you can notice if you go onto the bigger time frame. So 1 hour, and then you go onto the 4 hour. You can actually see the 4 hour. It's perfectly hitting right now, and it's reacting. Now, every single time frame, the 200 rejects. I can even go off of the daily, and you can see like it hits like support, or it hits like resistance right here. So it works off of whatever time frame you're on. So on the 4 hour, it's hitting perfectly, and on the 1 hour, it's about to break through. So this is actually a very perfect trade right here. I can already sense a 5-figure day. So you guys, those that know what pattern this is, what pattern do you see right here? What pattern do you guys see? Let's see in the chat area. There we go. So yes, we do see a head and shoulder pattern. Now, so you guys can see what a head and shoulder pattern looks like. I'll show you guys one of the millionaire trading cheat sheets that we have, and pulling up the exact area. So this is a head and shoulder pattern. We have the left shoulder, head, right shoulder, kind of what's going on right there. As you can see, pretty much looks identical. Have the neckline. Now the neckline for this one does look different. I actually like it better when it's going slanted up, being that we can enter sooner. And Jay, to answer your question, after this webinar, I will be announcing how to be able to join in. So you can see with this head and shoulder pattern, right when neckline's broken, the distance from the head to the neckline is the distance that it should break through once, or the distance that should happen once the price breaks through neckline. So distance from head to neckline is a distance that it should be dropping down once it breaks through. Should be expecting price to break through somewhere in this area here for a sell order. And it's perfect because here's what I see. So RSI divergence, price is rejecting off 61, 50% level. Price breaks through this 200 moving average, breaking through that. If you can see right now, it's at the pivot point. So if it breaks through that, it's already breaking that support. Head and shoulder pattern. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but head and shoulder pattern, the distance from head to neckline is where it should at least go for the most part. So overall targeting right here, sell entry here, stop loss up here, take profit down here. You can actually put stop loss. I would put it somewhere above that 50 right there. Now, if you wanted to catch it even longer, placing a smaller lot size, you could do stop loss above 61.8 and then take profit at this 0.0. So this is for a longer term trade. Would definitely go well. Now I'm going to add another confirmation for this. So I did notice this here. Boom. So price is perfectly right at this support area, which normally when it's at this support area, it should be bouncing up. But because price is looking to break through that, which I can already start seeing some um, bearish movement, with this red candlestick, but we obviously want to see it fully break through. So once it fully breaks through, that's when we know that's a confirmation to sell. So as of now, don't sell just yet. Just be ready for a sell. Okay. Now, there should be a major market pattern with the name Risky Ricky did it. I love it. Cool. So I already pointed out two of some really good, what I like to call on point trades. So you guys should be able to make money off of this. I will follow up next week and see if you guys did make money. Now, if you guys did, tag me. I'll repost it on my story. Some I don't because I sometimes miss it or I don't see it. Um, yeah, definitely make sure to give me a tag at Risky Ricky. And it doesn't have to be about profit. It could just be about you being inside of this webinar. Why not? So let me see some of you guys' questions. How do you enter the 15-minute, 1 hour, etc.? You're setting up a chart. So 15 minutes is usually the very lowest that I would get down to, and that's if I really need to. But overall, the 1 hour shows exactly what the 15 minutes shows. So for example, like another thing that I could have added onto this chart is getting a resistance line like that. If I go onto the 15-minute time frame, I might be able to see that a little better if I zoom into this area. But I can see the same thing on the 1 hour. So that's why the 15, I don't really go off of that, which by the way, the 15 is rejecting off the 200 right here, creating like a evening star there. And then this is engulfing. But yeah, overall should be looking at this for a sell. And someone asked, when would it be a good time to enter in for a sell? I just mentioned once everything's broken through. Once it breaks through, that has over 3+ confirmations to be able to enter in. So as of now, this is where it's like you wait for it. You don't want to get in. A way to wait for it is by placing a pending sale order and then just getting in. Now, you guys, I want to get into the strategy portion. Now that you guys have patiently waited, we're not patiently waiting. I'm showing you guys some valuable trades here that should be making you some decent money. Now, something about money that I want to talk about as well is don't even if I'm calling out the trade. Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people do this where they go all in. They have like a $100 account and they're putting in like a 1.0 lot size just because their leverage is high. Don't do that. And yeah, as far as trades, like there's no guarantee that this is going to hit take profit. But here's the thing about trading is when you understand the charts and you know what you're doing, the main thing that we're doing here is increasing the probability of your trade hitting the take profit so you can make money. Doesn't mean it's 100% because if it was 100%, I would be a billionaire, trillionaire, but it's not. So I do take losing trades, I do take winning trades, and overall, the main thing is winning as much as I lose, and that's how you become a profitable trader. So with a strategy, all it's doing is it's kind of like counting cards. Like you're just having the upper edge on trading. You understand what you're doing instead of just going in and not knowing what you're doing. And then there's a lot of different things when it comes to trading. Emotions come into play too. Like I could be going through a tragic thing going on or with the coronavirus going on, and let's say I lost my job, um, which obviously I don't have one, but um, anyways, I lost my job, and I'm just like, whatever. I'm just going all in. I don't even care. And if you let your emotions take place, then people are going to be betting high, and then you're just going to go crazy. Or if you just went through a breakup, especially, people would just go like, they'll just blow their entire account. They would put everything. Now they might make a lot of money, but then they can also lose a lot of money as well. So that's why you always want to stick with a plan, stick with something that's consistent. Um, and yeah, that's really the key, is copying what works. If it doesn't work, then don't copy it. Best traders blow account at first. That is kind of true. You mentioned best traders blow accounts at first. It's kind of true. So like I've blown some smaller accounts, but this was like when I had first started off, I didn't blow an account. Um, but then as I progressed, I actually had learned about the psychology of trading, because that the psychology of trading does take effect. Especially there's one that that I really had to learn about, was becoming cocky. Um, or I like saying cocky, but it's more like when you're constantly winning every single trade, and you're like for example, if I'm on a streak, um, like I win 10 trades in a row, and I'm on a row of just winning trades, it just gets to you. It's like, holy shoot, like I'm constantly winning, and my 11th trade, I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did to continue winning, but then my 11th trade, because I risked really high, um, it can take a huge effect on your account. And then you lose one trade, and you're like, okay, let me do what's called a revenge trade. So you get back in the market trying to make the money that you lost, and you just keep adding on and adding on until eventually you blow your account. That's what happens. So it's a learning lesson that I had to go through. A lot of people, they probably haven't gone through it, or you probably have gone through it. There's different levels to it. When I had first, you guys know that I had made 100,000 in one day. It was like 102,000 in one day. I was like on top of the world. I actually withdrew a good amount. I bought myself like a lot of stuff, went traveling all over the place, and I was just like on top of the world. And then I had lost like on one day. Um, it was one of like my bigger losses, where I had taken a loss of like 20,000. And I was like, holy shoot! And what goes on in your head is like all the things that you could have bought for 20,000. So it's like, there's just it's just a crazy thing getting into this world. But overall, like the main thing is compounding your account, growing, and just learning from your losses, and then just getting better and better. And that's what I love teaching about, because everything's just a learning lesson. Even for me, I'm constantly learning um, at the level that I'm at now. So definitely, you guys that are getting into it, it's going to take some time, but just stick through it. Promise you, it's worth it. Okay, so let's see. It's all Carol Baskin's fault. That's funny. Um, all right, so let's go into the strategy part, you guys. And then after that, I have an announcement for you guys. It's actually 12 o'clock right now. Man, time flies. I actually enjoy doing this. I did the same thing last week. I mentioned that I was going to do 30 minutes. Mentioned that it was going to be 30 minutes, and then I ended up doing like a full hour. This time's probably going to extend a little bit longer. I won't keep you guys too long. I know some of you guys are, um, a lot of you guys mentioned that you were from like the East Coast. I know some people are from like different parts of the world. So somebody mentioned it was like 7 a.m. their time, which actually I wish it was like that for me, because I have to be up around midnight. There is also like I can trade around 5 a.m. for the New York session, but you see 9 a.m. in Greece. That's awesome. Yeah, so anyways, GBP CHF is definitely dropping right now. I can see a strong push going down. So you guys could get in, being that it already broke the pivot. But what I would do for this one, if you were to get in, is it's more like if you might lose like temporarily, but just place the stop loss like pretty tight right there, right above this resistance. If you wanted to get in right now, but if you wanted to be a little more patient, just place a pending sell order down here, and then just go on with your business. It's just a couple pips from here. Let's see, 558 all the way down to here. Let's say 358. That's 200 micro pips. That's already like the game plan, catching 200. But you can catch a lot more. Overall, the goal should be not all the way down here, but right there. Okay, so let me go on to the strategy part, you guys. Now, I mentioned earlier there's two different types of traders. There's retail traders, and then there's institutional traders. Now, as far as retail traders and institutional traders, so let me actually write this down here. So retail traders, these are people that are trading smaller accounts. Now, by smaller accounts, I would say it's anything less than like, I would say less than like maybe 10 million in their account or something like that. Probably even higher than that, but smaller accounts, they're small hedge funds. Basically, it's people with smaller amounts of money in an account. And then there's institutional traders. These are big banks, large hedge funds. Now, the difference between both is one is small, one is big, one has less money, one has more money. Institutional traders, because they have more money, they're able to control the market more because the market's based off of supply and demand. So by understanding that the market moves by supply and demand, that means that if you trade the way institutional traders trade, then your chances of knowing a certain area that the price is expected to reverse is going to be a huge benefit to your trading. So institutional traders, what they do is they focus on bigger time frames. Anything past, so it's the time frames that they focus on are the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame. And then retail traders are focused on the 15-minute, even less than that, like 5-minute, 1 minute, but 15-minute, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour. Now, my strategy does have some retail trading strategies, and the reason for that is because it's important when you're going on to the smaller time frame to be able to get that key entry. But overall, it's good to understand what's going on in the bigger time frame, so then you can see what institutional traders are looking at and being able to get in. Being able to get in certain areas that price is expected to reverse. So kind of like this example, let this load up here. So I believe it was GBP CHF. So it was, or not GBP CHF, Euro GBP. On the weekly time frame, this area right here. So each one of these candlesticks represents 1 week. And if you had known that, you would have already known that these areas right here are expected to reverse, because overall everything's moving in a downtrend, creating lower lows and lower highs. So just by knowing this right here, looking at the bigger time frame, you can then get in on the smaller time frame and be able um, to know what's happening overall. So you go from the bigger time frame and then go smaller and smaller. But that's just one of the things, is being able to know, like, price action and what's going on the bigger time frame, so then you know when to get in. Um, but then a certain indicator that they use is the RSI. So I'm about to explain how that works. So the RSI is actually this indicator down here. What RSI stands for is relative strength index. So let me put my tool out. Relative strength index, RSI. And with relative strength index, what it's used for is to tell you the true strength or weakness of the price. And what I mean by true strength or weakness is sometimes what you see on the charts is not actually the true facts of what you see with a bank. So the RSI is a bank indicator. It's something that um, that is being used to be able to identify the price strength or weakness. Now, something that we use the RSI for is to be able to find out, it's called fake outs, or the actual term for it is divergence. All right. Now, if you can see, if I put this indicator higher, which, by the way, to be able to add this indicator onto your chart, you want to go onto the indicators here. You can look up RSI, and then it'll pop up right there, relative strength index. You click on it, and it'll add it onto your chart. Once it's on your chart, there's right next to the RSI, there's a setting button. You go onto setting. Normally, the original setting that it puts it on is 14. You want to change this to 5. The source of this is going to be close. The style, that's up to you. Make sure it has a 70 and 30. Everything's checked off. Precision, default, and just press OK. Now, I'm going to close this out because I already have the settings on here. Now, if you can see on the right-hand side over here, we see the 0, and then we see the 100. So it's going from 0 to 100, and then we have these two lines right here. There's this bottom one, which is the 30, and then we have this top one that's the 70. So anything above the 70 is what's called overbought. And then anything below the 30 is oversold. Now, what I mean by over the 70 or below the 30 is these lines right here. Now, these lines, they move as the price is moving. So, for example, right now, the price right here in this area is currently right here. So I'm actually mark it off. This point here is that point there. And then this very top right here is this top up here. So as the price is moving, these lines continue moving. So when the line is above the 70, price is overbought. Below the 30 is oversold. Now, what I'm looking at on the RSI is when price is going on a decline. So anytime when we see the price above the 70, I look for things like this, where I see one peak and then the other peak, and it's slanting going down. So let me actually write this down. Um, above 70 equals looking for slants going down. Now this only applies when these peaks are at above the 70. So from this peak to this peak, we can see that it's going down and it's above the 70, which is the overbought section. So for example, this peak and this peak, they're both above the 70 and the slant is going down. Now, if you can see this peak here and this peak here, whoops. So this peak here and this peak here, this is showing that the slant is going up. So that is not the right way to do it. We're looking for slants going down when it's above the 70. So like these areas here where it's going down. Now, the reason why I look for slants going down is because usually when we look up at the price at the very top, if we see at the very top of the, on the actual candlesticks, that price is going up, and on the RSI we see it's going down, this is showing that price is going up, and then the RSI is showing that it's going down. So that means price is expected to reverse. Price is getting weaker, and we actually see the real strength of the price, which means the strength is getting weaker, while at the very top is showing that it's strong. So that's the divergence portion there. Now, if you look at the very top of the chart, so I'm going to align it with this first slant right here. So we can see right here, now this is a weekly time frame, but overall with this RSI, I mainly look at it on the 1 hour time frame. But if you can see right here, price is just showing that it's going up like that. Now, as this is showing that it's going up, on the RSI is showing that it's going down. And what happens after? Price shoots down a bit. Now, for something like this, it's perfect for certain breakouts. So for example, if you're getting the support, if you get the support line and then you catch a sell on the break of the support. You catch a sell on the break of the support. Now let's spot another area. So this area right here that I had pointed out, that it's slanting down. Let's look at the actual chart. So this area here is from this point to this point here. Now, these 2 points are pretty much side by side. This one, if it was showing exactly what it's showing down here, this right point right here should be lower. It should be somewhere down here to copy exactly what's going on down here. But it's evenly aligned with this one, which means that it should be dropping. Now this isn't really too much of a fake out. It's normally the fake outs are when it's showing it's going up and then it's going down. But for something like this, it's also showing that price is expected to get weaker because it's side by side and then price does drop down. Now for this area right here, price from this point to this point, you can tell this went really high up and this was like a fake out. People thought it was going to go up when strength of the price was actually showing it's going down. Now let me go on to the 1 hour time frame just to show you guys how it would go off of that. So the 1 hour time frame, the same thing applies. It looks a little more confusing because there's more lines going on here, but let me erase it and zoom in. Okay, so the same thing applies for the 1 hour time frame. If you see slants coming down like this, look at the actual chart and see what you what you notice. So for this point right here, I'm going to align it. It's this point to this point and going across like that. So overall, this is showing that it's going up, while on the RSI, we see that that price is getting weaker. So because we see prices getting weaker, we should be expecting for a sell. Now, this isn't, I'm not just looking at the RSI as my main confirmation, being that it's an indicator, it's a secondary focus. Primary focus is going to be price action and knowing what's going on with the price. So let's spot out another area. So I can already tell right here, this point to this point showing it's going down, this point to this point showing that it's going up. And then right after that, price does shoot down. Now, those that know about the major market reversal patterns is actually even better, because when you notice a certain pattern going on, let me spot out a pattern here. Let's see. Okay, so for example, right here, kind of like a little head and shoulder pattern going on. Left, head, overall, that goes like that. So when you notice something like that, and then on the RSI, you see that it's like slanting down a bit, while up here is showing that price is going up. Right here on the RSI, we should be seeing this going on. While price is going up like this, we should be seeing this on the RSI. So when we notice something like this where on the RSI it's showing that it's going down, that means price is expected to reverse. So then we see that, and then we already know once a breakout happens, we know price is going to drop. So it's a really, really good tool. Now this is above the 70. When price is below the 30, I mentioned when it's above the 70, you're looking for slants coming down. When it's below the 30, you're looking for slants going up. So, and they have to be kind of close to each other, not like super far distance like that. Even though if for something like this did work, price goes up, but you're looking for slants going up. So let me spot an area on the RSI. Okay, so something like this, from this point to this point. Let's look at the actual chart. Okay, so overall this was showing it was going down like this. And you can actually see if I do extend this going like this, we can see that right here, we see overall it's going down. And then on the RSI showing that price is expected to get stronger. So right after that, price shoots up. Let's see another area. Okay, so like this area here, price is showing it's going up. Let's look at the actual candlesticks. So for this area here, this point to this point is showing it's going down, and then this point is showing it's going up. That's divergence. Right after that, price shoots up. Now I'm gonna spot this point at above the 70. It's showing it's going down. If you look at the top of the price, this is showing it's going up. And then right after that, price shoots down. Below the 30, we see this is going up. These points are sideways, and price shoots up. So anyways, now someone asked if I can update the templates for the 7-day, which by the way, there's only one new thing that I had added on to the trading strategy, which that's going to be announced later on in sometime in May. We're expected to do it, but stay tuned for those details for the next one. Okay, so any other questions, or did you guys get this down? Anything that you probably didn't really understand about the RSI? We're about to cut off today's live analysis pretty soon. I extended it longer than usual. I know right now London session should have actually added this to my other chart here. Okay, so we don't see a breakout just yet on GBP CHF. Someone asked, what's the announcement? And the recording is going to be posted on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and look up Market Masters Academy, it will be on there. Now, this will be added probably in the next hour or so. Now, as far as the announcement goes, so let me actually pull up the page here. Okay. All right. So as far as the announcement, I'm going to bring the page over. Now, this is a mentorship program that we actually did a mentorship program. It was sometime last month where it was privately with 10 people, and it was like a group environment kind of program. And a lot of the people are already starting to see success. They're still in the learning process. Obviously, when it comes to trading, it does take somewhere around one month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months. But it's even as I mentioned in like the beginning of the training, that even for me, I'm constantly learning, and I learn from when I get a bigger account, the different feelings that I get as far as emotions. But I already understand everything that it comes that comes to growing your account. So as far as when it comes to bigger numbers, there's levels to it. There's levels to it, but it's the same thing. All it is just bigger numbers. So with this mentorship program, so we actually created something previously where it was 10 people. We did a group thing. Me and Lucas, which is actually one of my students that I had mentored last year. We actually did in-person mentorship. So he wanted to learn how to get into Forex. He had heard about it. He saw my stuff, and then he did in-person mentorship. And from that, it led him to be able to live off of Forex. And then just now he's like constantly, he's in Europe. He stays in Dubai, and then he's like in Germany, constantly like traveling different parts of the world. But what we did was I had flown him out, and we had done a mentorship program. And this thing that we're offering here is that mentorship program, but it's something a little different. So it's not going to be like an intensive kind of program. It's going to be more like gradually getting you to the point where you fully understand everything, but every little detail. So it's not really rushing, because we kind of had to like put everything in a weekend. This one's a different form where it's like it's for people who can dedicate some time into it. Now, normally it does take about 1 to 2 hours a week at least into doing the mentorship. Now, being that now is like the whole quarantine and things going on now, like people have a lot more time. So you could put in more time, which is actually recommended, to put in more time into practicing it. But with the mentorship program, so what it is it's me and Lucas. We get on a on a Telegram group, and it's privately us two with whoever signs up, and we work with you with each step. So there's 7 phases of the mentorship program, and each of the phase takes about 1 week to complete. I'm actually show you guys one of the persons. I actually mentioned him. A couple days ago. Uh, okay, here we go. So this is how the mentorship group looks like. We would create a group where it's 2-on-1, and some of you guys saw like the pictures where I posted like not gonna rest until my students become successful, and that's because I'm constantly working with people until they see the results that I'm trying to get them to. Which overall the goal for each person is making at least 5,000 a month off of trading. And that's definitely possible, because if I can make that in a single day, I'm pretty sure I can show someone how to make that in a month. So this is actually a result of one of the guys, his name's Kevin. Um, this was in 1 week. He mentioned almost double this account this week. So with 10,000 turned into 9,000. Now he had a bigger amount to start off with, but yeah, it varies based off of account. Now being able to see that kind of return just starting off, like it's pretty impressive. Now the goal isn't to make 10,000 a week or anything like that. It's to make 5,000 a month. So some people, they're seeing more because they have more to play with, but overall with this mentorship program, the requirements are you need at least 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours a week into doing the training. And if you can dedicate more, even better, but 1 to 2 hours a minimum that's needed. And you need what's recommended at least $100 into a trading account. I actually suggest 500 minimum, but you can start off with 100. The very lowest you can start off with Forex should be like $50. Um, being that most brokers, that's like the lowest that they would allow to open up an account. Um, but yeah, anything 100 plus would be ideal to start off with. And if you have more 1K, 10K to be able to put into your account, that's going to be even better. That should be able to jumpstart it faster. Now, when getting into the program, you first start off with the training. You get into um, mastering every single part of Forex, and then you practice on a demo account. Demo account means you're trading fake money, so you're not risking any of your real money before you go live. Once you're approved to go live after have testing the demo account, you go live and then you work on flipping your live account and just keep growing and growing and growing. So overall, that's the details. Now, this is both of us here. This was actually taken last month before the whole quarantine and everything went on. Now, as far as the pricing, so I believe someone had asked the pricing. So it's actually a pretty crazy price. Some people would think this would be somewhere around 10,000. Some people would think 15, 20,000, especially with all the time and effort that we're putting into each person. It's definitely very valuable. But normally this program does last about two to 3 months. Some people, it might take a little bit longer to get it down. So it really depends on each person. But as far as the program, so there's so it's 297, 297 a month, and included as a bonus, I actually added to be able to copy our exact trades. So you would be able to join into the program plus copy the trades, which, by the way, to be able to copy the trades, normally that's 97 a month. So it's basically like you're getting private mentorship for 200 if you really think about it. But this is like a temporary deal that's going on where you can get the mentorship plus you'll be able to copy trades. So it's while you're learning throughout the process, you can also copy the trades. And the benefit behind copying the trades as well is not only do you get like the exact entries that we get on, um, but you also can learn exactly what's going on. So for example, let's just say if I'm not doing this live analysis, but I call GBP CHF sell and I place my take profit and stop loss, then after you have taken the training, you should be able to see, okay, this is why he got in. So you're also learning throughout the process, which is why I was thinking about bundling it that way. Um, so yeah, it's only $297 to be able to join in. And as far as the spots, so I believe let me check let me check how many spots we have left, because this program we can't take that many people. Um, Give me one sec to pull it up. Okay, so we have okay, so there's 15 spots available for this. Um, there's 15 spots available for this, and yeah, once those 15 spots are gone, you're no longer going to be able to see this checkout page. So if you can see the checkout page, that means there's spots available. Once the spots are filled, it's just going to be completely canceled. There's not going to be any spots left. Now, it might open up in the future. We're not sure yet. But overall, we're going to focus on this like first wave of people. And it's going to last somewhere around like 2 to 3 months. I would say it would really take like 2 months to really get it down, 3 months to get more of like that special attention to master everything. But after the 3 months, you should already have the skills and everything that you need to be able to make 5K a month. Now, 5K a month, that's more like starting off. Some people are already making 10,000 a month. If you're making 1,000 in a day, there's 20 days in a trading month. So that's 20,000 in a month if you're consistent with making 1,000 a day. So, it really varies, and it's off of just compounding your account and just growing it and just getting it to the next level. So if you want to join in on this, I'm going to go ahead and send this link with more details on being able to join in onto the text area. Whoops. There we go. So you can just copy it from the text area. I see there's a bunch of questions coming in. I got some questions that were privately mentioned if the mentorship is Spanish. So it's not Spanish. It's not Spanish. So if you don't understand English, it's going to be kind of hard for you to get this down. And as far as so someone asked, when does it start? So it starts right away. As soon as you sign up, if there's spots available, once you sign up, it would start right away. We would get on the introduction through Telegram, add you into the group, and then from there just work with you constantly. Now, what it involves. So let me actually show you guys some of the homework that has been graded. So basically, it looks something like this. Now this was an assignment that I had graded for someone, where I showed certain areas that they got wrong and then how to improve. They actually had to redo it and then made it much easier to, or this, like, by correcting it, made it much easier for them to understand, notice what they did wrong, and then redo it again. And then they keep redoing it until they perfectly get it down. And then once you perfectly get it down, you move on to the next section, and it's just a whole process that you do. Oh yeah, this is Rich. So Rich is actually in here. He actually just messaged. That was me. What a coincidence! You're in here in the in the live. So, anyways, Rich is in the live. Mention about your experience. How have you liked the mentorship process? I believe. Let me actually see. You had joined in April 3rd was when you had joined in. I actually have it pulled up on my other screen. Tell me about your experience. And now, guarantee this was not planned. Um, he's not getting paid for anything. Shab said he's also in it. Cool, cool. So some of you guys are already in it. Yeah, but for those that want to join in, I'm going to post it again in the chat area where you can just copy that link, you paste it, and then you sign up. If you still see the link, that means it's available. Are we able to talk to your team members by appointment? Yes. So yes, that is part of it. So we would be messaging each other and then also having some calls throughout the process. So the copying of the trades, yes, so that would be on demo. And by the way, congrats Armin Nazi for signing up. So there should be 14 spots left now. At zero experience in Forex, and I am on day 3. I already feel comfortable with the topics Ricky has covered thus far. Best investments you can make. Yeah, especially being that it's 297. That's yeah, it's like it's crazy. But so I actually had got on a call. So this is how we came up with this way of doing it. Was I got on a call with Lucas, and then we were thinking about especially with this whole coronavirus thing and people having to stay home and stuff, like being able to help out people um, by doing something that's not pricey, but also being like keeping each person accountable, was by doing it this way. So this way is like it's where it covers every single section and then just gets you to master all of it. By the end of the different phases, then it's just constant one-on-one calls to make sure that you just understand everything. First starting off with demo and then going on to live and then ready to go. Congrats, Chris Piotrowski, for signing up. Congrats on that. Yeah, so there's 13 spots now. 13 spots left for those that want to join in. And I'm telling you guys, this is literally probably the only time that we're going to be offering this. Yeah, because it's, especially with adding on the signals plus the mentorship, like the signals is just like a bonus, but the main portion is the mentorship, keeping you accountable, making sure that you understand how to trade. Now, here's something to keep in mind when thinking about getting into this program is how much you want to make and seeing if this actually makes sense. Because I know some people 5,000 might not be a lot. For some people, 5,000 might be a lot. Even if your goal is to make 1,000, like, it varies based off of person and what your goal is. So if it's 1,000, I know for a fact, guaranteed, you'll be able to hit that. Now, something else with this program. So it's a satisfaction guarantee. So after 30 days, you have like a 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't enjoy it, if for some reason you don't get any value from it and you just feel it wasn't worth it, we'll just go ahead and refund your money. Honestly, to me, like, you guys know the kind of trades that I place, the kind of money that I make. 297 to me isn't really that much. It's more of an investment for you. It's more to have like skin in the game, show me that you're serious and that you're ready to go. You're ready to take action. So yeah, that's it. Do you guys have any questions at all? Let me actually. By the way, congrats, Brian, for joining in. Brian Hogson, congrats on joining in. What does that leave us at? 12 spots left. Roberto said gold, bro. Why should we break the lot size in half when placing 2 trades? Okay, so to answer your question, by the way, congrats Oliver for joining, Oliver Ray. Congrats Samuel Dutra. Okay, so why should we break the lot size in half when placing the trades? Okay, so this question is more. I guess if you're going off of the plan, so I'm guessing you have taken some of the training where I mentioned about the game plan, where if it's 1,000 for a trading account, you place a 1.0. That's catching 200 micropips. So you break the lot size in half because the max lot size is 1.0 if you have a $1,000 account. So it would be 0.50, 0.50. So yeah, it varies. Someone asked, what's the link? I'll paste it again on here. Congrats, Brian Liang, for signing up. Someone asked if the mentorship's Spanish. No, it's not Spanish. I'll mention that again. It's not in Spanish. So it's actually kind of crazy. Someone that I know that had spoke Spanish, that was his main language. He didn't really understand much English. He heard about the program and he wanted to sign up. He wanted to sign up and learn how to do trading, and he literally took English training just to be able to take my training. This was actually at the last Market Masters event. For those that don't know what the Market Masters event is, it's it's like a weekend event that we host in person. By the way, congrats Michael and Al. But anyways, it's a weekend event that we have where it's an in-person thing, and we get to network with each other and really help each other out. And basically with where I was getting at, so one of the guys, he flew out from Mexico to come to that event, and he told me that he had to learn English. So he was like another person that had to learn English to be able to take the training, which I find is pretty crazy because like to have that much dedication, like some people wouldn't even dedicate to get into get into like learning Forex compared to someone who had to not only learn the Forex, but he had to learn English so then he can learn Forex. Like that's a step further. That's dedication. Like be like that guy. that guy was definitely dedicated. Congrats, Francisco Castro. Oh, Roger said that guy was drunk that night. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, he was, especially when someone's like traveling from a different country, like they're trying to enjoy their time in America, and yeah, that guy was drinking. That guy was drinking a lot. Yeah, and then the thing about Hispanics, they drink a lot, so I don't blame them. Yeah, I see a couple people in here. Angel, when Dragon was in there, he was at the event. Roger, I remember you. Congrats, Danny Lizaraga. congrats for joining in. Um, oh, someone asked the dollar amount for the TP and SL on TradingView. So, oh, it's dropping perfectly. I'm planning on getting in very soon on this GBP CHF one. And by the way, talking about the price again, so the 297. Here's the thing. So people spend a lot more than 297 on stuff that doesn't is not really like that beneficial to them. For example, like partying on weekends. Now, with this whole quarantine going on, people are saving money actually because they're not doing all those extra things. But but yeah, like prioritize your funds the right way. If you're investing into something like this, you're you're investing yourself. Let me actually show this my screen back here again. Um, so you can see it says invest in yourself, you're worth it. This is the only way. This is the only way to be able to see success is if you're investing in yourself and your education. Go to school. Even if you go to college, like I I don't really talk down on college. I would say the only thing is they're just trying to get you a career, which isn't really a bad thing because most people they're just meant to get a career. Um, but this way of doing things, it's like you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest into business trainings. Like there's classes in college that, you can get an MBA, a master's in business, and it's not like it's going to be a waste of time. It's going to be well worth it. You're going to learn some tactics, but I'd rather learn from the hard knocks, going through training that other successful people have done it. I want to learn from a billionaire in business. I don't want to learn from a professor at college for business. So that's kind of my standpoint behind the whole college point. But as far as this, so 297. By the way, congrats Sal Vallejo for joining in. Um, but the 297, it's not that much. Like really think about it. Some people are buying iPhones for $1,000, or they're spending money in places that aren't really making money. Unless you're making money from your phone and you're using it for trading, then go for it. But like if you're just using it, you don't have to get a super expensive phone to be able to talk to someone. Like you can literally use some of the old phones, which are like Boost mobiles, or like I don't know, something old, like a flip phone. You can use a flip phone to be able to make a phone call. You can use a flip phone to text. Like you don't really need the expensive part. But anyways, where I'm getting at here is people are using their money not in the right areas compared to something like this, where overall, if you don't make your money back from the 297, um, then yeah, like you should be making that money back. That's where I'm trying to get at. You should be making that money back. Um, let's see. By the way, I see some people are messaging me privately. Put it publicly. Um, Someone asked, is there other ways to check out? So there is. You would have to contact me privately about that. And not privately on Zoom, like privately Telegram or somewhere else. But if we do still have spots available, I'll let you know about that. Okay. I just bought the 2-on-1 right now. Is the copying your trades the same as your Signal subscription? Yeah. So it's a Signal subscriptions. Who's this Android person? By the way, don't be like this person. This guy, I don't even know who it is. I guarantee they won't even share their name. And I'd love to see it. Yeah. You guys definitely don't be like this guy. Yeah. And that's what happens when you promote on Instagram for people to be able to join in. I just removed him. And by the way, yeah, let me get into this topic about haters. So they're not going away. They're always going to be there. Um, whoever he is, I don't care. I'm not going to hate on him just because he's hating on me, because being a hater is just it's just negative energy. Like why are you hating on people? Like people that talk bad about other people, and I know there's people that do this where they talk bad behind someone's back. Don't do it. If you catch yourself doing it, like, you know, just remember not to do it, because the more that you do it, the more negative energy that you're bringing on. The more it's just so bad. I remember, like, this is actually something that I had to learn. Um, because getting into entrepreneurship, it's not easy. There's a lot of negative stuff. When I had first dealt with haters, I remember I was like, I took it personal. I was like, holy shit, like this guy's, is this real? Like some people will call you fat, some people will call you ugly, some people will call you whatever. Those people are haters, and a lot of people take big effect on that. They let it really affect their mood, their, like, everything, their entire day, their entire week, like their entire life even. So yeah, that's a whole thing to get through. By the way, congrats Moses for joining. Um, see some of the comments here. You're a true legend. Thanks for everything. Yeah, you guys see me do this live. You guys hear me. I show you guys the strategy. I show you guys the money. I'll even show live accounts, and people are still hating. Like it's crazy. Um, being a hater won't get you far in life. 100% true. Being a hater is having a poor mentality. Use that energy to learn to make MSI. 1,000%. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you're focused on negativity, well, your results are expected to be negative. So, um, thing to deal with haters is to remind yourself that I'm making money and they're not. Exactly. Someone asked, "What is London session?" All right. Um, must be very new. So London session, and I'll bring up the London market hours. So London session is when the banks open in London. You can see right now, London and Germany banks are open. They open at 12 or midnight my time, all the way to 8 a.m. A good session to trade on is the beginning of London, or the gap between the London and the New York session. So between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Pacific Standard, that's a good time to do trading. By the way, congrats Sandoval for joining in. I believe we're almost filled up on the spots. See how much left. Okay, so we have 3 spots left. Once the 3 spots are taken, I'm literally going on the page and deactivating the link. So those that take it, you guys, this is your only chance. If you don't, um, this we probably won't have this again. What's your opinion on the IML Academy? Well, my first opinion, now I'm not gonna hate on them, but I mean they did change their name from iMarkets Live to Mastery Academy or something like that. So that sounds a little similar to but anyways, they probably saw my face somewhere and tried being like Risky Ricky. Yeah. But but yeah, let's see. But yeah, anything. So another opinion, because I'm not hating. I know they have the whole MLM stuff, and like, you know, one person gets 5 people, and those 5 people, you tell them to get 5 people each. So 5 times, square root of 5, like, it just keeps compounding and growing lots of members. So yes, it's a really good way to grow a company really fast, and that's why they're well known. But it's not the way that I do it. And being that I know there's a lot of people in there, and this is just from research. Like, I've seen some of their top members. Um, One of them spoke at an event that I went to. I actually went to the 10x Growth Conference in Florida last year, and one of the guys, I noticed he was in there. I'm not going to mention his name, um, but I noticed he was in there. And now, Angel, I'm not going to say who it is, but he was in there, and he works for that company. There was actually 2 people that were on stage that were from IML. They probably paid to be on there. I'm not sure. I don't know their deal, but anyways, they I don't even think they do trading. So they're more of like an influencer. They're more of like a leader role, which that's not a bad thing. It's good to be a leader and lead people, towards success and signing more people up. But that's their job role. So um, I'm sure the CEO of the company pays them a lot of money just for them to build a team. But yeah, so anyways, they're not really trading compared to like myself and like people in my academy. We're not focused on recruiting other people. We're focused on actual skills behind trading. We're focused on how to be able to place the next trade and make money that way, not from recruiting. So yeah, anyways, but there's no bad thing. It's actually a good thing that people are at least knowing that Forex is available, because they do teach some Forex in there. So I've never taken it. I just know that they do Forex training. Um, so even getting people's mind to understand that the markets are there, then it's a good thing. Um, so then people can advance their knowledge and then just get better and better. And yes, I've heard of Amway. Someone asked, how long does the mentorship last? So normally it lasts about 2 to 3 months. It really depends on you and how long it takes you to get it down. But yeah, about 2 to 3 months is how long the mentorship program lasts. By the way, congrats, Stephanie Torres. And also, quick shout out to my mom who is in here. I actually want to talk about her a bit. So my mom, she's what wonderful, amazing woman. Um, she probably one of the strongest women I know in this world. We went through a lot together. I didn't grow up in like I didn't grow up in luxury. Like, we kind of had it tough, being that I'm like a first generation Hispanic in America, and it's difficult. Like, not everyone has like trust funds and like, big 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 money being passed down from generations. Like, we literally came from nothing. And like, now she's out in San Francisco right now. I know she was one of the first people in California to be like actual like mandatory quarantine out there, and it's pretty crazy. But anyways, so she sent me a picture of her notes about Forex, and she literally, like, she she just took notes of everything that I had taught through the training. Now, obviously, I didn't charge her; she's family. But as far as getting into the training, like, it's very rare that I would give access. Um, I would give someone free access and them not take it serious, or them take it serious. That's what I meant. Because usually when someone gets free access, it's like, okay, it doesn't really seem as valuable compared to something that someone has skin in the game where they're paying money for, they take it valuable. So I definitely appreciate that she um, went through the training and she's like constantly learning. She's asking me questions. She posted like her notes, and it was probably one of the most broken down notes that I've seen. I've seen some really good note takers. She's literally whiteboards and everything. Like it's awesome. Um, now to answer Omar's question, I just joined. Should I cancel my Signal subscription? So yes, you can cancel your Signal subscription with this program. So um, I'm going to be reach out to you on Telegram and let you know let you know, or just remind me on Telegram once I message you to cancel your subscription. But yes, that's an extra bonus that's included. Normally it's 97. There you go. Cool, you guys. So man, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for staying in here. I know it's really long webinar. It took a while to really get through this, and those that stuck around know that know that this was cool. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys for joining in. If you guys have any last minute questions, anything, just let me know in the chat area. Trust me, I would just by looking at some of you guys' messages, like I just enjoy being in here. I can stay in here for 5 hours. I don't really care that much. Awesome, you guys. So someone asked if I'm enjoying living in OC. So yeah, OC, Orange County is pretty cool. The weather is nice out here. Just California in general, the weather is pretty nice out here. Lately, it's been raining a lot, but which is very rare. There we go. Jess is my mom, by the way. I thought she had left because I didn't see a message earlier, but awesome. Glad you heard it. Omar said if I'm ready for Ramadan, time to fast. COVID and OC. So COVID and OC is pretty strict. I mean, not as strict, but overall, like businesses that are like in a social environment have to close down. Yeah, but as far as me, like I come into the office, it's not really a problem for me. I just make sure when I touch elevator buttons not to press it with my finger. Like I use a napkin or something or a glove, and staying safe. Um, touch it with your tongue. I think that sounds like a better idea. Okay. Cool, you guys. So glad you guys were on here. Hope you guys got some value behind like the whole RSI concept. Join in every single week. I'm going to be most likely every single week going to be showing some new stuff. You know, you guys would probably learn a couple things. Like some of you guys probably didn't show up on the last one, but if you didn't show up to the last one, watch that recording. The last webinar was definitely some really good value with Fibonacci. Fibonacci strategy is really good. Yeah. Someone asked if 200 is good capital. Yes. 200 is, I mentioned anything more than 100 is good. Thank you for the signals tonight. Yep. GBP CHF had a little reaction. So overall looking for this on a sell once it breaks through. Be ready, you guys. Someone asked, does the free training teach you the most? Not necessarily, no. What time do you send signals on Telegram? Should be sending it very soon. Once I get off this live. Anyways, you guys, my partner's calling right now. I'm gonna get on a call. Most likely this is regarding the new people that just signed up. Anyways, you guys have an amazing night. Let's cash some pips. Let's make some money. Let's see if these trades hit, take profit. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. And by the way, I think there's like 2 spots left. So if you still see the link, it's still available.